Right after her swim, the girl sits down, ready to relax with a book, but hidden in the dark, a pair of eyes has already locked onto her. Just as she heads back to her room to rest, her boyfriend's so-called best friend Danny suddenly barges in, and that's when the nightmare begins. When her boyfriend Max returns and sees Lena curled up, trembling and crying, he rushes over to comfort her. But after hearing what just happened, instead of confronting Danny, he does the unthinkable. He tells Lena to let it go. He even says he'll buy her a bigger, more luxurious house, trying to smooth everything over with money. That's the breaking point, Lena snaps. She never imagined the man she trusted could be this disgusting. The more she thinks about it, the angrier she gets, and she slaps Max across the face. But Max doesn't hold back either. He hits her right back, hard enough to nearly knock her over, and with that, Lena's last illusion shatters completely. Then she spots a bottle of pepper spray on the table. Without hesitation, she sprays it straight into Max's eyes. Grabbing her phone, she bolts for the door with everything she has. But the moment she runs out, she runs straight into Danny. Terrified out of her mind, Lena freezes for a split second before turning and sprinting toward the second-floor balcony. Danny chases after her, cursing, closing in step by step. Cornered on the balcony with nowhere left to go, Lena pulls out her phone to call for help, only to realize there's no signal out here in the middle of nowhere. Just as she's about to lose all hope, Nick rushes in after hearing the commotion. Nick is an old hunter Max hired to train them in shooting. He's usually quiet, but he knows exactly what kind of men Max and Danny are. One look at the scene, and he knows something is very wrong. He gently reassures Lena, telling her not to panic. He even pats his chest and promises he'll personally take her home, making sure she gets out of this place safely. With no other options, Lena lets her guard down, thinking she's finally caught a break. But just as she's about to follow him, Nick suddenly shoves her straight off the second-floor balcony. Seeing Lena lying motionless on the ground, the three men panic instantly. Only then do they realize how badly things have spiraled out of control. They all know it. If this gets exposed, there's no escaping the law. At best, it's prison. At worst, it could cost them their lives. In a panic, they decide to cover it up, no matter what. Under the cover of night, they bring in a large industrial shredder, planning to grind Lena's body into pieces and dump it in a nearby lake. They think it's the perfect crime, but at the worst possible moment, the machine breaks down. It won't even start. With no choice, they abandon the plan and look for another way. In the end, the three of them carry Lena's body into a storage shed beside the villa. Max pulls out a sharp knife and hands it to Danny, his voice cold. He says Danny started all of this, so he should handle the body, like processing game after a hunt. It'll be cleaner that way. After dividing up the tasks, they split up to clean the house and yard, desperate to erase every trace Lena left behind. But just as Danny steps out to grab more tools, something unexpected happens. Lena suddenly opens her eyes. She isn't dead, just knocked unconscious, but her ankle is badly injured and she can barely stand. Fighting through the pain, Lena slowly gets to her feet and starts searching for a way out. Just when she's about to give up, she spots a sewer opening in the corner of the shed, a lifeline. Clenching her teeth, she grabs a thick wooden stick and pries open the metal grate with everything she has. She's just about to crawl inside when Danny comes back. The moment he walks in, he sees the body is gone, and panic hits him instantly. He calls Max and Nick, and the three search the shed from top to bottom. They quickly figure it out. Lena must have escaped through the sewer. Not wasting a second, they rush toward the sewer exit, hoping to catch her before she gets far. Meanwhile, Lena has already crawled her way to the exit. Just as she reaches up to climb out, her hand gets pierced by a nail sticking out of the edge. The pain is so intense, it nearly makes her scream, but she knows she can't stop. Not now. If they catch her, it's over. So she grits her teeth and rips her hand free from the nail. Ignoring the blood, she drags herself out and runs straight into the forest, driven purely by the will to survive. By the time the three men reach the exit, Lena is gone. They know she's most likely in the woods now. Danny is completely shaken and doesn't even want to keep chasing. He waves it off, saying his family has money and connections. He can just pay off the media and lawyers. Even if Lena reports it, no one will believe her. But Max and Nick strongly disagree. They insist this has to be finished, completely. Otherwise, it'll come back to haunt them. The only way to be safe is to find Lena and make sure she can never talk. Just then, Nick notices the blood on the nail is still fresh. He immediately concludes she can't be far. She has to be somewhere nearby in the forest. Fully geared up, the three of them hop on motorcycles, armed with thermal imaging devices and weapons, and head into the woods like hunters tracking prey. Lena, badly injured, struggles to move. Every step is painful and she can't go fast. Before long, Nick spots her, but instead of capturing her right away, he toys with her, treating her like prey. He chases, then stops, watching her desperate escape with a smug grin. Once he's had his fun, he pulls out a bow and fires an arrow straight into her leg. Lena collapses, blood quickly soaking through her pants. As Nick slowly approaches, she knows she has to fight back, or she'll never escape. In a panic, she grabs a thick branch from the ground and grips it tightly. The moment he gets close, she swings with everything she has, smashing it into his head. Finally, she fights back, and somehow, against all odds, Lena manages to take him down. Gritting her teeth against the pain, Lena forces herself to move. She finds a scarf on Nick's body. After quickly wrapping the wounds on her hand and leg, she digs out a few pieces of chocolate and stuffs them into her mouth to regain some strength. She knows this is only the beginning. What lies ahead will be even harder. Not long after, Danny and Max arrive, drawn by the noise. When they see Nick's body, both are stunned. Seizing the moment, Lena hides behind a nearby tree. While the two are distracted, she quietly steals Nick's motorcycle, starts it up, and speeds off into the forest, taking advantage of the chaos to escape. By the time Danny and Max realize what's happened, they jump on their own bikes and chase after her, kicking off a deadly pursuit. The two sides race through the rough forest trails, one chasing, one fleeing, until Lena is forced to stop at the edge of a cliff. In front of her is a bottomless drop. Behind her, relentless pursuers. No way out. Seeing Danny and Max closing in, Lena doesn't hesitate. She slams the throttle and rides straight off the cliff. When Danny and Max reach the edge, they look down for a long time but can't spot her anywhere. They're unsure what to think. With dawn approaching and worried Nick's body might be discovered, they hurriedly bury him and temporarily give up the chase. Meanwhile, Lena somehow survives the fall. Swept along by the river, she ends up washed ashore downstream. She struggles out of the water, soaked to the bone. The wounds sting even worse now that they're wet. First, she strips off her soaked clothes, finds a clean piece of cloth, and rebandages the deep cut on her leg. Then she pulls a bottle of liquor from Nick's bag. To prevent infection, she grits her teeth and pours it directly onto the wound. The searing pain nearly suffocates her. Tears stream down her face, but she doesn't make a sound. After disinfecting it, she drinks the rest of the liquor to dull the pain, even though she can't handle alcohol at all. Within minutes, she's completely drunk, barely able to stand. Eventually, she collapses onto the ground and drifts into a hazy sleep, not waking until nightfall. At the same time, Danny and Max find Nick's scarf downstream. They know Lena must be nearby, but the forest at night is pitch black, making the search nearly impossible. So they light a campfire and decide to wait until morning, taking a moment to steady their nerves. Elsewhere, Lena wakes up and finds a hidden cave in the forest. She builds a fire as well, for warmth and protection from wild animals. But with a blade still lodged in her leg, she can't move. Clenching her teeth, she forces herself to pull it out. Then she heats a knife over the fire and presses it against the wound, cauterizing it the most primitive way possible. The unbearable pain makes her vision go black, and she quickly passes out again. At dawn, Danny and Max split up to search the forest. Soon, Danny spots fresh blood on a rock. Following the trail, he climbs higher and eventually sees smoke rising from the mountaintop. He immediately concludes Lena must be hiding in a cave up there and quickens his pace. But when he rushes inside, the cave is empty. Lena had already seen him coming and hidden behind a large rock nearby. As Danny searches carelessly, she suddenly lunges from behind, wrapping her arms around his waist, trying to knock him down. But the strength difference is too great. Danny easily shakes her off. Lena has no choice but to run. After just a few steps, she twists her ankle again and collapses in pain. Danny quickly catches up. Seeing her helpless on the ground, a twisted look crosses his face. He tries to take advantage of her again. He sets down his gear and walks toward her slowly, but Lena is ready. The moment he gets close, she lashes out, kicking him hard in the stomach. Caught off guard, Danny stumbles backward and falls, his leg getting trapped between rocks. With a sharp crack, it snaps. He screams in agony, completely unable to stand. Meanwhile, Lena slowly gets back up. Her earlier injury was just an act, meant to lower his guard. Looking at the immobilized Danny, there's not a trace of mercy in her eyes. She lifts a heavy rock and smashes it down onto his leg, making sure he can never chase her again. Once he finally passes out, Lena takes his weapons and gear, her expression turning cold and resolute. She decides she's done running. It's time to go after the last person, Max. Not long after, she spots him deep in the forest. Max is still searching, completely unaware of the danger. Taking advantage of the moment, Lena raises her gun and fires, first hitting his leg so he can't escape. Then she fires again, striking his chest and ending everything. With her revenge complete, Lena returns to Max's villa and empties the cash from his safe. She considers it the only compensation she'll ever get for what she went through. Finally, she drives away in Max's car, leaving this nightmare behind. behind for good.